Hi everyone, my name is Antonia and this is PerryPictures. Today we are talking about how I started selling art commissions on Etsy, and I have 4 tips to show you that will help you get started selling your art too. And the very first tip that you'll need to know is, of course, to know thyself. It might seem a little bit obvious, but it's very important for you to look through your content that you already have and that you're already creating, and to really narrow down that niche that you are the most comfortable with and able to reproduce frequently. As an example, I'm going to go ahead and show you my art portfolio on ArtStation, and this is going to be essentially what I looked at when I was trying to determine what it is that I could produce for other people, for a clientele. And looking through here, I was able to determine that what I'm able to produce frequently and with the most consistency was character art. So I went ahead and chose this as my niche. Consider not only what are you producing the most of, the most comfortably, but also what content do you have the ability to show as an example of your style of work, your quality of work. And the reason why this is important is because you're going to want to be able to isolate what artwork you've created for other people that you do not have the right to show necessarily versus what you do have the right to show in your portfolio. If you've created commissions for other people in the past that they don't want online because they don't want maybe somebody stealing their idea, or they're just not comfortable with it's a portrait of them with their portrait online, that's something to just be kind of conscious of and aware of. And if you're not sure, just ask. If it's artwork that you've produced for other people, probably the best thing to do would be to go ahead and ask. A lot of my work that I have put into my listings are actually characters that I have drawn for other people during Art Fight. But I made sure that in my Art Fight portfolio, it said that I will be posting and sharing my artwork in other websites and other locations. That way, if they were uncomfortable with that, for them to just tell me or for them to not engage me in Art Fight. That said, the second thing that you really need to know and be aware of when you are going to list your artwork for sale, whether it be on Etsy or commissions through another website, is to know your clientele. And I'm going to use Etsy as an example for this when I'm running through what that looks like. So what I did is go on Etsy and do a little homework or a little research, and I typed in what it is that I want to offer to the Etsy community, and that is custom character commissions. And you can try to type this in a couple different ways. It could be personalized character artwork, any kind of combination of words. Try to get a good feel for what was already available, how they listed their commissions, and what they priced them at, so what their price point was. You can look right here under the listings to see, not just how much it cost and how it was listed, but also how often it's being purchased. So this is all very good research to do. This one's mine right here with a little bunny on the shoulder. What I want to draw the most of is character art for people's D&D characters or for their Star Wars characters. I would find something similar to that, like this listing, and I would click on it and I would kind of look at, okay, these are the examples of the artwork that they're offering. I would come over here and look at the price point and sort of how they've organized their listing as well. And we're going to go over that in step 4 on how to set up your store listings. But just kind of compare and contrast, and I'm not telling you to copy, verbatim what they're doing, but just get an idea of what's available and where to sort of ballpark and price point your options. Really quickly recap, first tip was know thyself. So definitely look through what kind of content that you're creating and what you have that you can recreate consistently. The second point is know the clientele. So go ahead and look through what's currently available online for the feedback from clients and what sort of comments are being left in the reviews, so you can more accurately pinpoint what it is people like or do not like. The third point that I've already sort of dipped my toes into is pricing. So while you're doing your research on what the clientele likes and what is currently being offered by your competition, you need to also be looking through those listings for what the range is in prices for what you have to offer. Now, I would also like to add an asterisk right here, because it's not necessarily a good thing just to price based on other people's prices. It's absolutely important for you to consider how long it's going to take you to create that commission and bounce your price off of your timeline. So if I see that a lot of people are offering portraits for $10, but it's going to take me 2 hours or more to do that kind of a portrait. Is it really worth my time to offer that portrait for $10 if I'm making $5 an hour or less? So for example, I'm going to go ahead and open up one of my 3 listings here, and this is personalized character portrait commissions for any kind of like RPG tabletop or just creative storybook characters. If that's something that you are into, that's what I would like to draw for you. So my prices start at $10. Well, what can I do for $10? I'm offering a grayscale bust for $10. When I click on that, it's going to bring up an example of artwork. The reason why I've listed, say, this grayscale bust at $10 and not perhaps like the entire headshot in color for $10 is because of time. I know that there are other listings that are offering what I'm offering for $10 or less even. I've seen on, like, you can go on Fiverr or you can go on DeviantArt and you can find people who are willing to do commissions for $5. But it's not really worth my time to do a commission that's going to take me more than an hour for $5. It doesn't make sense. It's not a good use of my time, and it's not really going to pay out in the long run. So if the grayscale bust is $10, then I bumped a headshot bust to $15. That's just essentially adding color. And for me personally, and this might be different for other people, getting the drawing right takes the majority of my time, and then the coloring really doesn't take as much time. It's not really a 50-50 split, so I didn't really feel like doubling the price to add color. But if for you, you're spending a lot of time on color and texturizing and fully rendering out like in a painterly style, then that might be worth doubling or even tripling the value of the initial sketch for you. So now I'm going to go ahead and cover my 4th tip, which is setting up your listings in your Etsy store if you are planning to sell your commissions via Etsy. So let's go ahead and look at what I have here. I have 3 listings currently available in my Etsy store. I've currently sold 3 commissions off of these listings, 3 different categories. You can lump them all into one. I've seen people do that, but I like to break it out and make it as specific as possible so that I know that I'm meeting a specific need or a specific search that somebody is looking for. Let's go ahead and go to the full body individual character commissions. Once we've created our listing, we're going to have a listing that has photos in it, and you're able to click and drag and rearrange them as you see fit. We are going to be able to adjust our thumbnail just by clicking this button and moving the imagery that way. For your listing details, this is very important, and this is something that you're going to want to take notes on when you're doing that research in step 2 and 3, is kind of what keywords are buyers searching for? What were you looking for when you were trying to look up your competitors and you were trying to find out what was available in your niche? So for me, I originally had this custom character art commissions for original characters, etc. And then I recently changed the wording to personalized character art commissions. And the reason being, for me, I was noticing that the use of the word custom wasn't necessarily always unique to the customer in some of the Etsy listings. And I think that it was turning away potential buyers because they would look up a custom character artwork for, say, D&D, which is very popular right now, and what they would find is a character sheet with a pre-made original character drawn onto it, but it's not necessarily customized to the buyer. So for me, I thought that using the word personalized would be better, and I noticed in my analytics for my Etsy sales that the personalized listing was getting a lot more traffic. So if you're juggling between those 2 words and you're trying to figure out which keyword to use, that's just currently what I found was relevant right now and may not be later on. We have our title, we have listing options. You would be able to put I did this, or if you have multiple members of your shop doing it, and then is a finished product or is a supplier a tool to make things. I'm not sure of an example of what that would be, but for me it would be a finished product. And when did you make it? So for any kind of art commission that you're doing, you're going to want to put made to order. You can type in all kinds of different things here that you think fit what you're offering, and it will give you a couple of options to choose from. For me, those options were art and collectibles, drawings and illustrations, and digital. And then I don't choose any primary or secondary colors because it is going to be customized and I don't want to limit or confuse buyers. My subjects, I put people in portraits, anime and cartoon, fantasy and sci-fi. Room, I don't click this again because I don't want to confuse or limit the buyers. I'm not framing my artwork, so I put unframed. I will not be shipping a physical product to anyone. These are all digital products. I'm not choosing a holiday. It's not holiday specific. I'm not going to choose an occasion. I'm also not putting a unit of height or width. Somebody comes to me and they say, look, I want this commission of my D&D campaign. I want to print it on a poster. I want it to frame it on my wall. I don't want to limit the size when it's as simple as changing the digital canvas in my digital software. I recommend that when you're doing your description, you go ahead and check out multiple listings and look and take notes on what it is that would apply to you. My listing description is very bare bones right now, and I know in the future I'm going to clean this up and make it a little bit more informative. I would highly recommend checking out, and I will put it in the description, Nadia Axel has a really good video on how to list commissions and what kind of information to put into your description. Things like terms and conditions and whether or not you're willing to do revisions, which I don't currently have listed in my listings, but that I do highly recommend that you consider putting in yours. Lastly, your tags. These are some of your keywords that you may not have or may have in your description and in your title. I went ahead and added them again along with a few others. That way when people are searching for these things, they will see my listing. And then pricing and quantity. These listings are valid for up to 3 months on Etsy. I went ahead and did the full 3-month span, and I considered my quantity to be how many of these commissions do I realistically believe that I could complete in a 3-month span of time. If that number is smaller for you, that's absolutely fine. If that number is bigger for you, that's great too. If you are just a commission machine who pumps out like 5 drawings a day, you know, fabulous. Make that number as big as you want, as long as you're not overextending yourself. So in order to create variations that are specific to your offerings, whether it's going to be line art or if it's going to be grayscale, if you want to offer full color, or if you want to offer flats, or say cell shading versus fully rendered, things like that, that would be in your Edit Variations tab. So I go ahead and pull up this window, and for me, I chose to call my variation style, and then it's line art, grayscale, flat color, full color for me. And then the beautiful thing about that is you can price by variation. The really cool thing about this that I don't see everybody using, but I think is super handy and definitely helps to inform your buyers of exactly what it means to have flat color versus full color, for example, is attaching an example photo to those options. So you just go to this link photos button up here, click on that, and then it'll show you your variations, and you'll be able to select from those photos that you attached at the very top of your listing the type of image that represents that variation. Last but not least, instructions to your buyers, and you can adjust your character limits, and there's always the option in Etsy to open Messenger and to message the buyer or for the buyer to message you and to just hash out those details a little bit more conversationally than per se in this little bit of a message that gets tagged onto the bottom of the order. And for me, I need an email, so I ask for that right here in instructions for the buyer. They don't always give it to me, so I just end up sending them a message anyway requesting their email address, but so far it's been a non-issue. Shipping is a little bit complicated, so I'm going to go ahead and link some of the resources in my description that I use to figure out how to set up free shipping in Etsy, since I am not shipping a physical product and I don't want buyers to have to pay for shipping costs that Etsy is going to automatically generate and attach to an order that they're not going to reap the benefit of. So I will show you a link in my description on how to set up free shipping, but once you do get your free shipping set up, you will be able to select free shipping for everything in your Etsy store if you are offering digital commissions, and save that as your shipping profile. To preview your listing, you just click preview, and once you're satisfied with that listing, you can click publish. And that basically wraps it up. So in review, very quickly, the 4 steps were: know thyself, know thy clientele, Make sure you are pricing competitively and worth your time and setting up your store listings. Next week, I will be doing another video that's going to go more into depth on selling commissions, particularly once you've made a sale. I will be covering communicating with clients, workflow, and delivery. So please hit that subscribe button. That's everything. So see you next time. Bye.